Welcome back to the Heal and Restore podcast with your host, me, Randy, of course, and then the ever most beautiful and loving hostess with the mostest, my wife, Cathy.
Oh, thanks, honey.
You're welcome.
That didn't say anything about me, Randy. You just ebb and flow in here?
Yeah, I mean, me, Randy, and my wife, Cathy. All right. So I did say you and me.
You did.
I just said me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Keep going. You got me all confused.
I figured.
I think I got you confused.
Yeah, it's not hard to do, is it?
Yeah.
Our heart is to help individuals and couples grow stronger through healing, honest conversations, and meaningful connection. Each week we talk about real life topics like communication and forgiveness, intimacy, family, and emotional health, because healthy relationships begin with healed hearts.
That's true.
So thanks for tuning in as we take another step together toward restoring what matters most.
Yeah, love that.
And today we got a pretty important topic.
Yeah, so today it's one that we're passionate about. You hear us talk about it quite often. It can often be misunderstood. It can be overlooked, and it might even be skipped altogether.
Correct.
Yet it really can make a huge difference in your healing journey. So we're going to talk about why a discovery session is so important before starting a coaching or counseling relationship. And I know that this is something that we talk about a lot. We share about our coaching discovery session. And so we're going to talk about why it's important. So if you've ever wondered, why can't I just jump in and get started?
Question.
Well, that's a great question, and not an uncommon question. You might even think that, what's the point of the first conversation? There's a good point. There's valuable lessons in that first conversation. And some people might even question, why is it even necessary? So if you're questioning yourself on any of these things, this episode is for you. If you're not sure about it, stick with us because we're going to go through it. You never know who you're going to run across who might need to hear this. So the truth is, when we have a discovery session and why we have a discovery session, it's how you start often determines how you finish.
We feel it's really important, and it's actually where we have connected with our clients before we even go any further.
It's the best first connection always.
Right. And even if it's not with us, you should have this kind of conversation with whoever you're going to sit down to walk with.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Let's begin by answering a simple question: what is a discovery session?
Exactly.
Right. At Heal and Restore Counseling, a discovery session is a no-cost, no-pressure conversation where we get to, number one, we get to hear your story.
Right.
We get to understand your current struggles, identify your goals, and help you determine if we're the right fit for you. That's critical. Are we the right fit for you? Are you the right fit for us?
Right.
But just as importantly, it's your opportunity to get to know us. This isn't a one-sided evaluation. It's mutual.
Absolutely.
Very important. Very important, right? Yeah. You're not just choosing a coach or a counselor. You're choosing someone you're going to trust with. These are important. And trust us with your story, or whoever. I'll say us, because it's
Should
us.
Be us.
Trust us with your story, your pain, your relationship, and most importantly, your healing.
Yeah.
And that kind of trust should never, ever be rushed.
Right. Yeah, these things have been very valuable in our relationships, building trust, because, this is an opportunity to heal. And what better way to heal is with somebody that you can trust.
And here's something people need to understand, is trust is not just given. Yeah. It's never just, I'm going to trust you. It's something that's earned, right? So this first discovery session is the first step to begin the trust process.
Yeah. It's not the only part of the process. It's the beginning of the process.
But it will grow over time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about why people sometimes think, let's just skip this. Let's just jump right into it. I want to skip this step. Here are a few common reasons that we have seen, and we have heard too, is urgency. When people are coming to us, they're struggling right now. We need help immediately. And that urgency situation, I've had several men and women that I have talked to when they call us for the first time. They're in panic mode. They're in tears. They're filing for divorce. They're this, they're that. And so before we even schedule that discovery session, my conversation helps them to have some peace, help them to have some hope. And that's our first point of contact, is just to show hope, just to give them an opportunity.
You had somebody this week, calling, sobbing to you.
Yeah.
As soon as she answered the phone.
She cried and everything was, by the time we ended the conversation, she had some hope. The other thing is discomfort.
Yeah.
A lot of times people don't want to open up with somebody new, and I can understand that. We've been in that place ourselves. We've been to a couple different counselors over our marriage, our 42 years. It is uncomfortable to open up to somebody new. Another point in this, and why they want to just pass this discovery session, is there's an assumption that's involved. They think, well, if they're qualified, that should be just enough. And that may or may not be true. That's a big question mark in my mind. But then another one is fear.
Yes.
What if we don't like what I hear? And we understand all of that. But there's a reality in this. Yes. If you skip that discovery session, it can actually slow down your healing and not speed it up.
Right.
And so you wonder, well, what does that mean? Why? Because without it, there's a lot of things that happen if we don't have a discovery session prior to establishing a relationship, and that's expectations aren't clear. There's no expectations or unspoken expectations. Maybe the goals aren't defined, and so we want to talk about your goals. And trust hasn't been established, so that's another reason. And then the alignment hasn't been confirmed. And all of those things are a foundational process to your journey. So we have to create a foundation, a healthy, clean, clear, decisive foundation before we step into any type of coaching or counseling session.
And, the qualification, we're going to talk about why we feel qualified in a minute, but what is qualified to you as a client?
Yeah, what is your expectations of qualification?
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of people out there with PhDs and all the schooling in the world, so maybe academically they might be qualified.
Absolutely.
But there's more to being qualified than just a letter after your name.
Have they experienced some of the same things you're experiencing?
Exactly.
Have they walked? Have they walked in your shoes? Have they? What qualifies them for the human part of what's happening, not just the analytical brain part of it, but the human part of it,
which is important. But there's a lot more to it. So let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention.
Yeah.
And that is fit matters.
Not the way your clothes fit.
No.
It's the fit in the relationship as you begin a journey of healing.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
So not every coach or counselor is right for every person or couple, and that's okay.
Right, yeah.
At Heal and Restore, we don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach.
No, not at all.
During a discovery session, we're discerning. Are we equipped to help in your specific situation? Are we ready for the type of work we do? Yeah. Are you ready for the type of work we do? Does our approach align with what you need?
Right, that's good.
And you're asking, do I feel safe? Do I feel heard? That's more important than anything.
Yeah.
Do I feel heard?
Yeah, absolutely.
And do I trust these people? Can I be honest in this space?
That's really good, yeah.
Because real healing only happens when there's emotional safety and trust. Without that, progress is very limited.
Yeah. And that just reminds me is, when we meet with people, we meet them right where they are.
Yes.
And I think that's the important part. Is we want to be able to meet you right where you are, number one. Number two, it's important for us to be able to hear you so that you are heard and you're valued, and your fears and all of the things that you bring to the table are valid.
They're
valid. Something that's really important.
Right. I think, my own healing, when I was finally really able to dive into it is when all the feelings that were shut down my entire life finally were being validated by my therapist and my counselors.
Yeah.
That was like, it was like, oh, so I'm not a bad person for feeling this way, and I have a right to feel this way, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's another reason that discovery sessions are so valuable and so important. It creates clarity, you know, and with clarity will lead to momentum. And that's something that's really important. When you're clear, you can keep moving forward. And so during that first conversation, a couple things that we're going to help you with is that we're going to put words to what you're feeling. A lot of people don't know how to articulate. They're feeling a certain way, but they can't put the words to it. So we're going to listen and help you identify those words. We're going to identify patterns that you may not see, and sometimes it's not easy to see them. And so we're going to help you identify some of those patterns that you might not see. And then we're going to also clarify what's actually happening beneath the surface. There is at the top, there's all these things, but there's a root underneath it.
Absolutely.
That's just sitting there being fed with all kinds of things. So we're going to help you clarify what's happening underneath the surface. And then we're going to help define what success looks like and what it could look like for you. And so a lot of times we'll have couples, they might come in, they might just say something like, we just don't communicate well. Hello, welcome to the club. You know, you're not alone there.
98% of divorces, the number one reason for divorce is poor communication.
But as we continue our conversation, as we continue to talk, we're going to uncover things. And a lot of the things that we pride ourselves on is helping people with unspoken expectations. We'll help people look at those past wounds. And they may be past wounds not necessarily in the relationship, but back in another relationship or a childhood situation. There's fear of conflict. We're going to talk about fear of conflict and how you can overcome that fear and walk through conflict with confidence. We're going to talk about emotional disconnection because that is something that is very common. And then suddenly, with all of those things coming out, there's clarity. And when there's clarity, there's direction. And that's the most important thing.
And all those things Cathy just listed are critical for your healing. Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
So let's be honest. Walking into a coaching or counseling relationship can feel extremely vulnerable.
Yeah.
And yes, you'll have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right? It's the only way you can truly heal those deep wounds that you've been carrying maybe for many years, right? You're opening parts of your life that you may not share with anyone else.
That's right.
The discovery session helps ease that by creating a safe starting point, allowing you to share at your pace, giving you space to ask questions, helping you feel seen, not judged. With Heal and Restore Counseling, there's no judgment or condemnation at all. And what we found is this: when trust is established early, the work goes deeper, faster, and more effectively.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're not spending weeks trying to figure out, can I really open up here? And that's a great question. Can you really open up here? And the one thing that here at Heal and Restore Counseling that you're going to benefit from, number one, is that you have a husband and wife team. So if you're sitting down as a couple, it's a husband and wife talking to a husband and wife, right? And we do offer the individual counseling too. Now, as a couple, sometimes they need one-on-one counseling, right? And the other part about that is that you benefit from Cathy and I working with you, but also we have walked in your shoes.
Yeah.
And I say that with 100% certainty because of all the experience we've had, both in our childhood and in our relationship and in our marriage, right?
Yeah, and one thing that we do tell our clients is that we're never going to ask you to do something that we haven't done.
We don't have the right to do that. You're not guinea pigs.
No, not at all. So we're going to share our experience, strength, and hope, give you the tools and give you the action steps that you can apply in your relationship.
Yeah. It's a proven path, more or less, is what one of my mentors said.
Yeah.
Proven path.
But there's some big reasons why coaching, counseling, relationships just struggle. And a lot of times there's misaligned expectations. And we've talked about the fact that expectations bring clarity. But during the discovery session, we're going to talk through what coaching really looks like, what it isn't, how is it different from, maybe normal therapy counseling, because it is slightly different there in that capacity. We're going to talk about what's required of you. There's going to be expectations of you and then also the expectations from us. What can you expect from us during our time together? We just got to remember, this isn't passive work. We're not just sitting back waiting for things to happen. We've got to actually take action. And that's one thing too, is that there are specific action steps that you will go home with.
Yes.
Once we start our working relationship, you will have action steps. Because, healing, it really requires several things. It requires honesty, honesty on your part, honesty on our part. It requires effort. You got to put in the work. Consistency.
Yep.
We say consistency and change in behavior. That's what is required in that. And then you have to be willing to look inward. I think where we get stuck is everything is an outward look. What we have to learn to do is to look inward. We have to be able to self-reflect. We have to actually be able to understand what's going on.
We have to remember that if we're looking outward, pointing fingers, there's one pointing at other people, but there's three more pointing right back at you.
Yeah, and these are things that we want you to know up front. We're not going to tell you halfway through, oh, by the way, you need to start doing this. No. These are things that you're going to hear from us from the very beginning, from that first discovery session, should you decide that you want to build that relationship with us.
And we want to say this clearly. Scheduling a discovery session is not a small step.
Not at all.
It is, and I want you to hear this and believe this, it's an extremely courageous one.
Yep, absolutely.
And we acknowledge that. We know how hard it is to make that first step, right? It means you're acknowledging something needs to change.
Right.
Courage. You're choosing not to stay stuck. Courage. You're open to growth. Courage. You're willing to be honest. That takes a tremendous amount of courage. And for many people, that first conversation is actually the beginning of their healing.
Yeah, no, it's so good. So if you've been on the fence, because you might have heard our previous podcasts and we talk about this 1 hour discovery session, or if you're unsure, and I just don't know, or maybe you're thinking, maybe we should reach out, or maybe I should reach out. Let us just encourage you with this. Don't skip the discovery session. It's not just a formality. It's actually a foundation.
Yes.
And in that foundation, it's where, again, trust begins, clarity is formed, direction is set, and hope starts to rise. Like I said, after all of our discovery sessions, people leave here more hopeful than they did when they walked in.
They'll leave with that one thing every one of them do, hope.
Yeah, there's hope. Yeah. So if you're ready to take that first step, we invite you to schedule that no cost. Again, I'm going to repeat, no cost discovery session. The only cost it is your time. And that's it. There's no dollar signs with this. And you can schedule that through our website at www.healandrestorecounseling.com. And remember, this is your time. Share your story. You get to ask your questions. And you get to see if this is the next right step for you. If it's not, it's okay.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we're giving you the best opportunity for that healing journey. So it's really important that you take that step and don't skip on a discovery session.
Exactly. And like Cathy said, there's no cost and there's no hidden cost for the discovery session.
Not at all.
We're not going to force you to buy something.
No, and in that discovery session, not only do you get the clarity and the expectations of yourself and of us, we share about the program itself, what our the layout of the program, what you can expect to get from it, and the timelines that we work with. There's a lot of extras that we add into it that you don't get in a typical therapy session. So we want to make sure that we go through all of that with you so that you can make an informed decision on what your healing journey is going to look like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, pretty good, huh? I mean, I think it's something that really needed to be put out there.
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us on the Heal and Restore podcast. If this episode encouraged you, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a conversation that could change your life. Until next time, keep healing, keep growing, and keep choosing. And hit the follow button too.
Keep choosing what, honey?
Connection.
Okay.
I was saving that. I was saving that.
Were you saving that? Okay.
So keep choosing connection.
Awesome.
Right? As I always do. Right?
Yeah.
So remember this, everybody. When nobody tells you they love you today, Randy does.
Cathy does.
More importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a fabulous week.
Have a great week.